Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm a independent demonstrator with Stampin Up in southern Tasmania. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to just do a quick video, or hopefully it's quick if I can work it out. I've had a couple of attempts at this, but it's got me all tongue-tied a couple of times, so let's see how we go this time. Oh, just checking my volume, that's fine. Okay, so big admission here. I am finally using, and I'll just sit down, finally using the last stamp set and die, the last bundle from my pile of shame from the pre-order after Onstage back in November. For those of you who don't know, Onstage is a big event for demonstrators all around the world, and as a demonstrator you get to do a pre-order as a part of that event. So I went quite crazy, bought probably more than I should, and have had the big pile of stamp sets and dies sitting there ever since, which I've been working through slowly since that time. So as I say, this is the last bundle from that pile of shame, and to be honest, I have put off using it because I really wasn't sure how to attack it. It's a quite unusual bundle for Stampin' Up. I definitely haven't seen anything quite like it in my 3 or 4 years. It's actually called Many Messages, and it is a big stamp, a big single stamp, as you can see, that has lots and lots and lots of different sentiments, lots of different messages on it there. We've got hello, thank you, happy birthday, congratulations. There's a sympathy one there. There's just a whole range of nice little sentiments there on the single stamp set. And then you've got the dies, which are also a big single die as well. So the anticipation is, I suppose, that you will stamp the big stamps and run them through the dies and have lots and lots of individual sentiments with sentiment boxes. And that, to be honest, here, before we came on, or during one of my previous videos, this is exactly what I've done. So as you can see, I've stamped the stamp on a 5 by 7 inch piece of cardstock, lined it up with the dies, and here I have lots and lots and lots of individual, sometimes quite fiddly little sentiment boxes. There's some stars and some hearts there as well, with lots of great sentiments on them. So if I wanted to use them today, I just have to pick them up and pop them onto a card. And that's great, I suppose, as long as you make a whole range of cards and you don't mind all your sentiments in the same colour. Like I've used Pretty Peacock with this, and I've got 20 sentiments in Pretty Peacock. But you might sort of say to me, well, I don't want all my sentiments the same colour, and I use a lot more birthday ones than I do congratulations ones, or I don't really want a whole lot of sympathy ones because I hardly ever do sympathy cards. And that's totally understandable. I'm sort of the same way. So I was sort of having a bit of a think as to how you could use this dies, get with these great little sentiments, and not end up with a whole lot of wasted paper every time you do so. So what I thought I would show you is something that I've come up with, and I'm sure there's lots of very clever demonstrators out there that have worked out better ways, but this is what, when I put my mind to it this morning, this is what I came up with. Okay, so what I've done is the same 5 by 7 piece of cardstock, and I've printed it off. That's the print. I've printed or stamped the stamp straight onto that 5 by 7 piece of cardstock. Then I've run another piece of 5 by 7 cardstock through the dies, and you can see that that lines up pretty much perfectly with the stamped images below. You may have to have a little bit of a fiddle, maybe do the stamping on a slightly larger piece of cardstock and then cut it down to the right size so it matches up perfectly with your die template as well. But if they match up perfectly, you can line them up top, bottom and sides, and you see the sentiments straight through, the ones that they're supposed to correspond with. So I would keep this forever and ever as a sort of a template to come back to use again and again and again. So you put it on pretty sort of hard, thick cardstock, so it lasts quite a long time. Then what happens? What you can do is cut yourself a whole lot of blank sentiment boxes. So run the dies through with some cardstock sort of a few times till you get a whole lot of boxes, and you can come back to these and use them when you want to later on. So say for example one day I want to do a sentiment and use the be brave, be strong, you've got this sentiment here. So I want this one and I want it in black, and I don't really want the others. So I can find myself the little sentiment box that goes with that sentiment. So see, because we've lined it up with our template, we know that that one goes with this, because it fits in there perfectly. It goes with this particular sentiment box just right. Okay, so we're going to use that one. And then using our stamping platform, the Stamparatus or whatever you happen to use, bring in your stamp. So what I would do first of all, and you may actually want to keep a piece of grid paper especially for this purpose, it's up to you, pop your stamp onto there and ink up the whole thing and stamp it onto the grid paper. Ooh, I'm going to use my pretty peacock again because it's my most juicy, to say, probably to pick a better word, stamp pad. Okay, so stamp that once onto that piece of grid paper. Okay, so then you know you can bring in your sort of die template and line it up perfectly with the die, with the underlying messages, just like that. It's actually quite good to use the little stars and the hearts to line it up, because they're sort of nice little distinct patterns. Use your magnets to keep that in place. Then, as I said, we're going to use this be strong, be brave one, which I've probably put aside somewhere now and lost it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so that gives him this little one here. So what then you might do is just bring in a ink spot, just a smaller ink or something like that, or just a blend or something. Ink up, oh, clean it off from the first stamp, or you'll end up with a disaster. Well, it wouldn't be a disaster, but you still know that that lines up with that, which is good. Ink up your Be Brave, the one we particularly want. Pop our particular sentiment box in place there, so in its little, it slips perfectly into there and held in place. And then bring your stamp over. Drum roll, please. Hopefully this works. Bring it back a bit closer to the middle. Drum roll, please. And we'll end up with, ta-da! Oh, that worked well. The one particular stamp set, die box, sentiment in its sentiment box that we wanted. There we are. I'll get that out. Oh. Okay, so we've got Be Brave, Be Strong, Be Brave, you've got this. And we haven't had to stamp all the other ones multiple times. So that's the way I think we should probably do this one, or if you want to just do one sentiment at a time in different colours. Make yourself a couple of templates. This one so you can line it up with the die template and work out which particular shape you're after. And then use your stamping platform to line those up and get the particular ones that you want. So as I say, probably useful to keep that piece of grid paper, especially for this purpose as well. And then you can, you know, to line it up even better with the platform. It was a little bit complicated. Apologies for that. It was perfectly clear in my head when I was working it out this morning. But I think hopefully you'll see what I mean. As I say, it's probably it's an interesting stamp set to have. Be quite useful if you're making a lot of cards for a gift or something like that for someone. Maybe you're making somebody a set of cards with you know, as a gift or a gift box or something like that. You do them once and then you've got them forever sort of thing. You can just use thank yous and birthdays and things like that to fit in with your designs. But as I say, what I'm going to do is grab a cellophane bag, put my little templates in there, and then all my blank sentiment boxes that I've cut. You probably run it through a couple of times with some cardstock. Keep those all together, and then when I want to get a particular sentiment out of that, just find the shape that corresponds with the sentiment that I want. Use my little templates, my stamping platform, and I'm all set. Okay, so thanks again for watching. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, drop me a line. If not, if you'd like to buy this particular stamp set or this particular bundle, it is available in the January to June mini catalogue, which means that you can buy them together and save 10% on the individual price. So just drop me a line if you'd like to know more, if that's totally confused you and you'd like a bit of clarification. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a great week, and I will talk to you all later.